Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
So this is the first draft of the strike that I've been testing all day. It's probably not the final build. Definitely, I can feel I'll be making some changes in the future. This has been testing okay so far. I know seasoned strike players are gonna see certain cards excluded from the deck. I'll go over the notable exclusions at the end. So we start out with 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, and you know the 2 called by this Master Duel attacks. Xyz Remora. Those who don't know what this does, you attach 2 Xyz materials from an Xyz monster, then special summon this, and then you can target 2 level 4 fish monsters in your grave and special summon them. So basically, if you can stick an Xyz monster, which is mainly going to be either a Kragen or a Bahamut Shark with this stacked on top of it, then this gets you 3 bodies on the field for 1 card. Now the problem is it doesn't play well under disruption because everyone is going to stop you before you get your 2 Xyz summon. So this is kind of can be considered a win more card. And I used to run a 3 because this deck needed the high roll, it wasn't strong enough, but now since this card's searchable now, I can drop it down to 2 copies. 2 copies specifically is because White Mirror so it can be added to, we can add a copy with White Mirror if we need to. Triple Silent Angler. This is just the free fish level 4 extender. For some reason it has this insane restriction of you cannot special summon monsters from your hand for the rest of the turn. You know, it's not like the typical you can only special summon this card once per turn. It's you can only special summon this card and you cannot special summon other cards like this for the rest of the turn, you know, because otherwise this card would be too OP, you know. The meta breaking threat of sharks. 3 Shafana, just a free special summon. Right hand shark, this is the effect where people notice for Cricket Cook. If you notice, we're not running Cricket Cook because the extra deck's really tight after the new support, so we're not really taking advantage of the battle protection effect. I mean, it at niche comes up, but usually we're just using it as like a target as an extender with Foolish and as something you bring off with Buzzsaw. Speaking of Buzzsaw, this is the main starter of the deck. Target a water monster you control, including it can be itself, and then special summon the water monster from your deck with the same level as it, and it locks into Xyz, which it's not going to be a problem for this deck. Interesting note, can be used, treated as a level 5 monster if you Xyz summon with it, if you Xyz summon a water monster with it, which didn't come up before, but with the introduction of a Fish Shark, it comes up a little bit now. 3 Lifeless Leaf Fish, this is another starter of the deck. I don't know if I like 3 yet. It's definitely a weaker starter than Buzzsaw Shark. So in order for this to be a 1-card starter, you have to send a Crystal Shark from the grave, and while Crystal Shark is good, you can only make number Xyz with it. So you can't summon Leaf Fish and make a Bahamut Shark out of it. But it is now, it's cool that this card is now a starter because of the new shark support. Triple Abyss Shark, this is the main new support that we got that makes this makes this deck, you know, decent, like pretty good now. If you control only water monsters on the field, you can special this, and then just add a level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from the deck. So you can add any of this. locks you into water for the rest of the turn, but for essentially at minimum a double extender, and sometimes if you haven't normal summoned it, you can special Abyss Strike, search Buzzsaw Shark, and then normal the Buzzsaw Shark and use the Buzzsaw Shark. So that's like a triple extender right there. And 2 Crystal Shark. Oh, by the way, the Abyss Shark and Crystal Shark can only be if you use these for the Exceed summon. Okay, so the main rank you're going to be exceeding with this deck are rank 4s. You'll notice that these 2 cards are level 5s. So they have this effect where if you exceed summoning a number monster with them, they can be treated as level 4. So the number monsters you can summon with these then are basically this and this. And if you want to summon them as level 5s, so which either 2 of any of Abyss Shark, Crystal Shark, or Buzzsaw Shark, you can go into this new card, Nash Knight, which we'll talk about later. They also have weird like secondary effects that don't matter a lot, but it's good to know. Abyss Shark doubles the battle damage when you attack with a number monster. So I always forget about this, and I've accidentally killed people because I forgot that I deal extra damage. So it was a nice surprise. And Crystal Shark, you special summon this by targeting a water monster in the field. If I special summon this, and then you have the attack of the targeted water monster. No, it doesn't say water monster you control. So if your opponent somehow has a water monster in the field, you know, like let's say a Dragite, you could summon this and then reduce the Dragite's attack to 1500. Just, you know, pretty funny. Foolish Burial. This card is a lot better now that we have Crystal Shark. You have essentially 2 different targets for extenders, making Foolish an actual extender and not just like a weird thing that you sometimes you can sometimes Foolish something to add off White Mirror, but overall it's low impact. Now this card's actually pretty versatile. 3 Pot of Greed. Oh yeah, this is the reason why I chose to ran 2 Crystal Sharks, so we don't banish it too often off of Desires. White Mirror, this is like an insane card. You can special summon a level 4 fish monster from our grave, and then add another copy of the same card from the deck. So most often you could Buzzsaw Shark for Silent Angler, for example. Then detach the Angler for an Exceed. White Mirror back to Angler. And then add another Angler from the deck, and then you can special summon another Angler. The only downside of this card is that, unfortunately, it can't get ashed, which is really annoying when that happens. The triple droplets, because so like I'm not satisfied with the dex ratios. Like I want to run more defensive cards. I want to run Designator. I want to run more hand traps. But this deck really needs to open hands full of water monsters in order to actually play. Like if you open hands of like 4 or 5 water monsters, you know, you can break boards going second. If you open hands of like 1 or at max 2 water monsters, then like you probably can't really, like you probably just get stopped by 1 interruption and can't play. So Forbidden Droplet is like, since we don't have like a high quantity of utility or defensive cards, this is what I chose as like the highest impact one if we do of our limited space for defensive cards and 2 goals in match. I'm not sold on this exactly either. Obviously this is insane if you pair this up with Kragen. It's good against some, it's not good against every matchup. It's like iffy if you don't have the Kragen, and if you opponent has an imperm, then like the Kragen goes away, that happens quite often, to be honest. It's kind of annoying, and this card's like really bad going second. Like, this is like the worst card to open going second against Despia. So it's been hit or miss with me so far in testing. Extra deck. Utopic Draco Future package. You would most often go into this with Bahamut Sharks. So like Bahamut Shark can summon two different things. It can either summon Toad, which is what you normally go for, or it can summon Nightmare Shark. Then with Nightmare Shark you overlay full armor Black Ray Lancer over it. Then with the Bahamut Shark and the Ray Lancer you can just overlay them into Utopic Future and then into UDF. The other way to make this is with 2 Stealth Kragen spawns, because these are 2 ranked 4 non-number monsters. So yeah, I don't think I've used the effect for this once. Theoretically it could come up because, you know, 2 Buzzsaw Sharks, but I've never had a situation where I needed to use this effect. Abyss Dweller, really good. Although, honestly, we use this more for the attack gain, just to push for damage than even the actual like graveyard disruption. A lot of times, since not every deck gets hurt by it, the ones that do, you know, they get really hurt by it. Sign Honor Arc. This is a... I mean, you're not gonna be hard slamming this often. This is more of a thing you, with the inclusion of Nash Knight. So Vespinato, this is the easiest way to make Exclusions more alive. You would go into a Bahamut Shark, detach one to summon Toad, then overlay Drill Driver on top of the Bahamut Shark. Then the Drill Driver has 2 Exclusions here under it, which is just enough to make Exclusions more alive. Nash Knight, this is the new Exclusions. It's a rank 5, so again you can only make it with combinations of these cards, these 3 cards. And essentially, quick play, you could detach 2 materials from it, then attach the Sign Honor Arc from your deck to non-targeting attach a monster on your opponent's field to this card as a material. So it's like the hardest form of removal, like or it's the hardest to deal with form of removal basically you can have in this game. Like, you can attach a Mirror Jade to this. You could honestly though, like, that's the only thing I've ever tried to attach off Nash Knight. But you know, that is pretty devastating. It stops the Mirror Jade trigger, and this is a good thing to end on too, on your first turn. It's like, if you can make it, it's a stronger card to end on than, say, just a Stealth Kragen. And so the most pertinent exclusion I think people will find is Beta Tuneful Princess. This is essentially just the tutor for Buzzsaw Shark. A lot of TCG builds run this. I'm still not sure if I should run this or not. I've been testing Leaffish over it. But the problem with this card in Master Duel is that every deck runs like 3 Maxi and 3 Ash Blossom. And if this card gets Ash Blossomed, it's like your turn just ends. There's stuff that you can do. Like, advantage of this deck is that it has a bunch of extenders, so if stuff like your Buzzsaw Shark or your Leaffish get Failure, Infirmed, or Ashed or stuff like that, you can just extend. You have more extenders that you can summon. But like, if this gets Ashed, like, this requires a water monster on field, this requires a water monster on field, this requires a water monster on field, like, you can't, all your extenders are dead. So this is like really risky to go for this play. And also, if this gets Maxi, you just give them an extra draw for no reason. You know, making a Kragen into 8 cards, it's not gonna do it. Also, extenders such as Ice Light and Sea Nettle, like these guys lock you into water, and that's like we don't want to lock ourselves into water unless it's for Abyss Strike, which is literally like the strongest card in the deck, and it adds it's a Rhoda and extender, double extender. Like these cards, there are so many different level 4 water monsters we can summon, we can use that don't water lock us, you know, such as Lantern Strike. We're not even running Lantern Shark because this dies to, like, this is an extender that dies to Valor and Infirm, which is kind of weird. You know, Shafana is like really the best one since you can just summon it willy-nilly, and summoning an extender before you, without using your normal summon, before committing to Abyss Strike is like really strong. So yeah, another thing is I was using the Instant Fusion and Ready Fusion package for Rare Fish, but the extra deck is just so tight now that if this deck had 14, like before it had like, this deck had, I would say 14 important cards and 1 flex spot, so that flex spot I would just use for Rare Fish, and then I could get, and we could use these Instant Fusion and Ready Fusion as extenders. But now with Nash Knight, this room is just too tight. Same with a second Kragen. Right now we're forced to make number Xyz a lot more now because Abyss Shark and Crystal Shark require us to go into numbers Xyz, so you're going into Kragen a lot more often than you were before. So sometimes a Kragen could come up, and I haven't done enough extensive testing to see if the second Kragen is worth an extra deck slot yet. The rest of the Nash package, like the overlaying the C Nash Knight over top of the Nash Knight to go into Sign Honor Dark, that is, like, speaking of extra deck, like that is just way too many extra deck slots. You would have to basically cut the Bahamut Strike, the 1 card Bahamut Strike into UDF engine, which is not like I feel like that comes up more often because pretty much whenever you don't draw Abyss Strike, the Bahamut Strike into UDF play is live, and this is, I mean, this is just like another Kragen really that has recursion, but I don't think it's worth it personally. Oh, and oh yeah, about the water lock thing. You'll see in the replays, but water locking, especially when you're going second, water locking yourself is the worst thing you can do, because your strongest plays going second basically involve going into the Utopic package and Zeus, you know, like as with most Xyz decks. Like a single Kragen's not gonna. Sometimes it's enough, you know, if you can crash your Kragen, you can get 2 removals with your Kragen spawns, but Zeus is just a more powerful way to tool it for going second. So yeah, if you're still here after all this rambling, we'll have some replays that I tried. This season's been really cancer so far. I don't know why this new selection pack dropped, and you know, I do know why there's a lot of Floo. I'm not sure why there's so many freaking Eldritch too. Like, oh my god. Okay, so this replay is gonna showcase one of the main strategies of this deck when you go second. Now, yes, I know I went first, but I bricked. I did nothing. So just imagine me giving my opponent a free. Yeah, spoilers. This goes match is not gonna do anything either. So just imagine my opponent got a free turn. You know, say they're on 60 cards, makes me really not want to Ash his Unizombie, because if I if he grasses me after Ash Tunes off, I'm gonna feel real smart about it. Well, we're gonna maxi the glow up bloom, summoning the Baylor Drotch, and get our 1-for-1, which is the most we can get at against this deck with maxi. Sick. Wonderful draw. This is exactly what I want to see. We're gonna set 4. Gee, I hope there's no floodgates down there. Nice. It's doing a whole lot in this game state, bro. So we're gonna normal Silent Angler. Oh, let me read Beta Draw for a sec. If a face-up card in the field once per chain when a zombie monster activates its right. Right, so we're gonna normal Silent Angler. Then we're gonna trigger Crystal Strike in hand, which is not yet a zombie, to not give Beta Draw a chance to trigger. Then we're gonna immediately put those two into Stealth Kragen without activating any more effects. Then we're gonna enter battle phase, crash the Stealth Kragen. Beta Draw cannot activate in the damage step, so Stealth Kragen's gonna get the 2 spawns. And here's one of my favorite things to do with the spawns. Main phase 2. Again, I have player priority to initiate the first action entering main phase 2. So we're gonna put these two, overlay them into a utopic future. My opponent must be really sick right now. He just activates skills in match at its earliest possible opportunity, which is already too late because spoilers. I'm only gonna go into light monster from here on out. Gonna overlay Utopic Draco Future, and which is most used for being the 4th material for Zeus. All light monsters. And we're gonna Zeus clear the field. Twice. Gonna see we sent 2 Eldritch Traps. So now that anti-spell's gone, we get to White Mirror our Angler and add another Angler. A special summon to make another rank 4. Put them into Bahamut Shark to make our opponent smart. Activates Sanguine before we get to summon the Toad. Yeah, Toad is really good against Eldritch. Because when you Toad negate their traps, obviously not only does it negate them, but you set them to your field so that they also don't float with their grave effects. You're gonna get a Conquistador, flip their Wakero, and crash it to try and get a Sanguine next turn. You know, desperate times. Our turn, we're gonna try to kill him. Summon Shafana, White Mirror, revive the Silent Angler. They have 1 unknown, so our Toad covers that unknown. Put them into Abyss Dweller to get the attack boost, and okay, don't do this. So I keep forgetting that Crystal Shark requires you to have one of your monsters attack in order to summon it. So yeah, summon the Angler first, and then Crystal Shark target the Angler, so you don't lose half attack on your Bahamut Shark for no reason. I'm gonna enter battle and go for game. I'm gonna Conquistador. I just say fuck it, just take it, put them on 1 card. There's a skill drain. It's the best card in this scenario. You know, thanks for helping me do more damage. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. This Cosmic Ocean pack was a mistake. Ever since I released, all I've been seeing is fucking. It's not Floo. It's just a bunch of Eldritch floodgates. Like, it is so hard for me to find a good replay in like the day of testing I've done so far, because like all we get is this shit. Like, oh yeah, anti-spell. Nice. I'm gonna try to push. Oh, nice skills in the match, bro. If you thought I was playing Sword Soul, bro, nah. Nah, fam. Yeah, he's just gonna shotgun the Conquistador, because I mean, you know, why wait for me to make a play, right? Sick. Ras, Judgment, double Floodgate. Sanguine Conquistador, nice. Man. I mean, it's funny because half the floodgates that people play aren't actually effective against sharks specifically. So, you know, his goes and mash hurts him way more than it hurts me because now he can't kill me by going into Gustav Max. And you'll see the error of his ways. Now we finally get to activate our desires. There's some sick draws. Summon right hand shark. Summon crystal shark. Now I'm gonna make Kragen first. Now he is locked under his own Gills match. He cannot summon the Sanguine to summon another Eldritch Golden Lord. And now we get the pop up because he has no more interruption and all he has is a Gills match that's doing so much for him right now. Going to Toad, summon the Abyss Shark. Going to Honor Arc. By the way, we haven't normal summoned yet, so you know, like, thanks for the match, bro. Okay, maybe I'll try sometime later to try to find more interesting replays of this deck and do some more testing, because right now this, like, I've been just matchmaking non-stop, just trying to find a decent match where I can showcase my deck against, you know, something where I don't, you know, either have to face down floodgates or where I go first and show what the deck can combo off. But like as you can see, you know, Floo, that was a brick. That was a drew no playable cards for 6 turns. New Numeron, yes. Floo. The Floo, yes. And I'll show you how a typical Floo replay goes. Okay. Decent hand. D-shifter? Yeah. Well, can't use Toad under shifter, so we're gonna make UDF. Because it's actually good against Floo. And set Gozen. Opponent's gonna imperm my UDF, summon Rabina, and get Gozen. And then realize he cannot do anything and FFs. So yeah, just quality gameplay, you know, that's how the average Floo game goes, you know. You know, they go first, they set a barrier statue, I go first, I set Gozen or UDF, you know, it's just very fun and interactive gameplay.